Welcome back to Switch to Linux. This is Tom and the Kitty, and we are here to talk today about a first impression of KaOS. So KaOS itself is it's another one of these ground-up distros. So like Solus is a ground-up distro, and these distros are actually very nice in that they will get rid of a lot of the things that you find in some of the old, longer-running distros like Ubuntu that will have a lot of abandoned packages and maybe some old packages and some things. Of course, the downside is there's not nearly as much support going back for them, which almost is, in a way, is a good and a bad thing because it also means that we don't have quite a lot of your old posts going back to Ubuntu in 2003, which sometimes you encounter those old posts and they can kind of get in the way because some things have actually changed in the operating system since then. But regardless, we are going to have a look at KaOS. So what we're going to do is we will start out by just having a look at their website. And so this is where you can get it. It's KaOSX.us is their website, and you can see some screenshots here how the system looks, how it's set up. They do have a lot of information here. Now, what KaOS itself is, I'll go ahead and start out here. It is a ground-up Linux distro. It is based on the Linux kernel. They may or may not keep it the Linux kernel, but currently it is the Linux kernel, and it is basically a distro used to highlight and support the KDE applications. And so what you get in here is a whole lot of information. Now, they do make it very clear that they're not an Arch distro, and the reason that's distinction is Arch is really based on the user building their own system, versus KaOS is a distro that says, hey, we are going to make these choices. If you align with our choices, then this is a distro for you. If you don't necessarily align with the choices, then it may not be the distro for you. But you can see KDE and Qt Focus, just looking at these scrolling things here. These are some of the applications. So, Contact, Kmail, Kaddress Book, some of those I use. And then, of course, there's a full list of packages, which I think they got over like 1,500 packages now. There's a lot of different setups. You can even see here from the images here that there's a lot of different ways to set it up. One of the things that I was curious of is, do we have the options, this easy single-click options to set up a desktop such as this with a dock? And the reality is no, we do not have those options as a single click. Not like, for example, the Zorin system. You can go in and select, do you want like a Windows-like feel or an Apple-type feel? So you can set them up this way, but I was not able to find any themes. We'll go ahead and have a look again. I haven't looked at the themes since I've installed it, but we'll have a look at the themes again. But I did not see a way to do that. And the cat's clicking on keys on the keyboard. That's what changed that real quick. Did you select stuff? Did you? You select stuff? All right. Kitty's chilling out here. So you can read about the distro here. So there's a lot of information here. For our downloads, you can get various mirrors. It does not work. Which was this one? I looked at 3 or 4 distros before choosing this one to look at today. One of the ones I looked at today was not available for an ARM processor. I don't remember if that's this one. I think that would be this one. I think this is only AMD 64 architecture. So you do have a fair amount of documentation. They do use the Pacman manager, which, if you're used to, Arch or Manjaro or anything like that, you're probably very familiar with the Pacman manager. So, that's a good thing going for it. They also have a graphical one called Octopi, which is very much like the Synaptic Package Manager you might find inside of Ubuntu. We do have the list of all of the various applications over here, so you can see what these all look like. So you can see that there are a lot. Like I said, I think they have over 1,500. Any common application that you might want to use is actually in here. And then we have some bugs, and there is also a section of a variety of user-maintained packages that you can get that aren't necessarily supported by the distro itself, but you can get access to all these over here. So there is a lot of options. If you like WPS Office, you can get that in here. There's an OwnCloud client, Vivaldi. I know a lot of people like that web browser. There's Pale Moon. So you can hunt down through here, see if there's anything in here that that is interesting to you. And then, of course, they have a user forum over here. So that is pretty much a nutshell about how the system itself works. So let's go ahead and have a look at the distro itself. And I got to move my picture. There we are. Okay. So here, now the cool thing about it is on first launch, there is a very nice configuration screen that I'm not going to talk about that yet, but I actually recorded going through it the very first time. And so I'm going to go ahead and append the video on the end with that so you can see the settings. Now, the only thing is I did not see, it did seem to take everything except it did not finalize my wallpaper. So I had to go back in on first load. I went back in and reestablished my wallpaper. Of course, I wanted to use the wallpaper here to highlight which OS I'm using. There are a lot of wallpapers. Now, this is a KDE, and I themed this up with the Oxygen theme, which is probably my favorite out-of-the-box KDE theme. And I gotta say, I really like the look of this. I've been using a lot of KDE lately. Really briefly, let me tell you, when you first launch it, that first launch asks you a lot of the basic configuration, like would you like to single-click or double-click on files? Since most of us are used to double-clicking, I just went ahead and selected the double-click, and then it will walk you through which theme do you want to use. So I kind of picked out all my themes to look like this. Now, some people think that this is more of like an older style look. It is an older style look, but this is the look that I prefer. And the great thing about Linux is I can choose this older style look. I think this looks a lot better than the modern flat themes, personally. But it's a matter of personal choice. So I come over here and you can see that it actually, you have the ability to pick which menu you want. Do you want this menu? Do you want the more classic menu? So let's just go ahead and have a look at the applications that we have available. So under our development, see we have Compare, Qt Designer, Qt Assistant, Education, KDE Marble, which I believe is a map application, very much like Google Earth, I believe. Looks like we have KPatience. Never actually seen KPatience. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, look at that. We have Klondike. A lot of variety of different solitaire. Sweet. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and close that out. And let's see. Graphics, looks like it comes prepackaged. I've not done anything with this. I haven't even looked at this since I've installed it. I played around a little bit with the live image. I did not play around at all with the installed version. So we get Krita out of the box. Okay, for internet, KDE Connect, of course. Fat Rat Upload Download Manager. Never seen that one before. Cubezilla is our web browser. We actually have Skype. Let's see which version of Skype this is they're giving us. Oh, okay. Web Skype. Huh. Okay. It's a web Skype. I didn't know there was such a thing as a web Skype. Fascinating. Too bad I'm walking away from Skype as we speak. Multimedia. So we do have a disk burner installed. Simple screen recorders pre-installed. That's actually neat. I like that. OBS Office is in the repositories. I did look for that. So that is in there. Calligra is your Office system. LibreOffice is available. I've not actually used Calligra. I'm so neck deep in LibreOffice though. I'm not sure I'm really looking to change. I'm actually learning how to do entire book formatting over there. That's all applications. I don't want to. I'm going with that. All right. And let's see. So we have Vim. We have KWrite. We have an ISO writer, so lots of things that are good in here. Octopi is your graphical software software guy. So let's look at what. Okay, I want to see if Firefox is in here or not. I don't know if this is updated or not. Let's just go ahead and update it. Huh. It's like Firefox, either I'm missing something or Firefox is not available. I know Thunderbird is. Evolution is not. GIMP is available. Okay, so that's interesting. That's very interesting that we don't have Firefox available there. I don't remember all the details on the Pac-Man Manager or not, so I'm not going to attempt to install that. That's curious to me, though. I don't have Chromium, or Firefox, apparently. Let's see if this has Discover on it. Nope. All right. So a lot of good applications. Now, one of the things, of course, one of those differences that you see, of course, as you already noticed, is that it does put the menu vertically on the right side, which is quite a bit different. Most things we're used to Unity with the vertical bar on the left, or MX16 with the vertical bar on the left, or we're used to a top or the bottom. But this one actually defaults to put it on the side, which is certainly is an interesting choice. I don't know. That's interesting because on my Debian system back here that just shut down on me, on my Debian system, I'm actually using a dock that is attached to the side. So attaching it to the right side is actually not too far out of the ordinary, and actually does kind of force you to use the system in a way that you might generally use a system here in America or the other Western countries. Come on. There you go. So that's kind of interesting. We have notes. We have a calculator. I have 2 virtual desktops. You can choose the number of virtual desktops that you have. Cubezilla is the... this is your web browser. So that's what we got there. Let's go ahead and go back to KaOS there. I'm going to look at the packages. I'm going to see if they have Firefox in here. So apparently it does have Firefox. I'm not sure why I wasn't finding it. Let me look at that again. Oh, there it is. Maybe it was still in the process of syncing when I was okay. Gotta commit those changes. Yep. KaOS. So OBS Studio is in here, so if you are looking at wanting to use this for OBS Studio, that is an availability. So I looked for all the various software packages that I would ordinarily want to use. And I don't see Bluefish. Bummer, no Bluefish. Okay, we do have FileZilla. I'd have to look for a different package I'd want to use for web design stuff. That's actually interesting. It doesn't have Bluefish. I don't know off the top of my head of other web design applications. So okay. Okay, so it's still working, it looks like. So let's have a look at the information here. So KDE Plasma version 5.10.5, KDE Framework 5.37.0, Qt 5.9.1, kernel version 4.12.10-1. So we really have here a very modern, very up-to-date system. It has a reasonable amount of packages. I'd need something for web design, but outside of that, this does look like a good logical choice. If you really do like, KDE and you're looking for a fresh distro to run, this might be a very logical choice. Of course, you can configure the desktop, install new packages like you can with KDE usually. So overall, it's still installing 53% over here. Overall, though, this is actually a very nice distro here. Let me go back here. Let me try Bluefish again. I think I was... No. Okay. All right, so it is taking its grand old time here to get this installed. I just want to see what it looks like when it is. By the way, all of the icon packs, all that kind of stuff, all of those were chosen at the original start screen. I thought there was an option to re-show that start screen, but I couldn't find it when I was over here. Let me look at the auto start. No. Let's go ahead and have a look at the firewall here. So it looks like the firewall is actually enabled by default. I'd have to... One of the downsides is they don't have this really themed for the theme that I have, so there's actually some white text here by the mouse. Oh yeah, ooh, lots of white text there. So it does look like it is enabled by default, which is good. A lot of people ask for that type of thing, enabling the firewall by default. All right, let's see what else. There's Firefox. Let's see if we have a stock Firefox or if we have a Firefox that has been meddled with. Always tell by clicking down here. So it looks like this is a stock version of Firefox. They've not meddled with it at all. All right, bummer. I like to see the meddled versions because they usually have added start page or something else good in there for search engines. All right, so there is KaOS. Just as a brief thing. Stick ahead for the end of the video and we'll go back and I'll show you the startup screen. There's no audio on that part, but you'll be able to at least watch it. Maybe I'll try and throw some of that allegedly free YouTube music up there, and hopefully I don't get demonetized for using the allegedly free YouTube music while I walk through that screen. But regardless, overall impression on this, well, I need to go and learn how to use Pac-Man again. I haven't used Pac-Man for like 6 months. I didn't use that a lot then. But this is, I think this is a nice KDE build. I'm curious if they will have resolved some of the issues that I'm still encountering on my Debian build. So actually, I'm thinking this will probably be the last week I'll be running my Debian KDE build. It's been fun, but I'm going to go back to my Linux Mint version that's actually on the hard disk in the computer. There's actually less bugs in the Linux Mint KDE than there is in the Debian KDE, but I'll do another video on that when we finalize that. And wrap that up. But if you are looking for doing KDE, particularly if you like the Pac-Man Manager, then this is a very logical choice to pick. It is very up to date, very cutting edge. It's its own ground up distro with its own repositories, a lot of other user supported software. Very good option. So I can say I'd highly recommend KaOS. This definitely looks like a good one that you might want to play with. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the scrolling feed of what's on that startup screen. I'll put that on at the end here. And thanks for watching. Once again, if you would like to help support Switch to Linux, you can go to switchtolinux.com/support, learn about the current ways to support us. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.